Hey guys, this is Ryan from Let Me Be Critic with my review of Bloodshot.
What is this place?
I'm sorry to be the one to tell you this, but you got yourself killed. With the technology in your veins, you have an army inside you that will not only make you stronger, it will heal you instantly.
Holy shit.
They've been manipulating you.
Bloodshot, directed by David S.F. Wilson in his very first film, starring Vin Diesel, Guy Pearce, Eliza Gonzalez, and Toby Kebbell. Bloodshot, which is a character in the Valiant universe, which is the third biggest superhero universe. I feel like that is something that's only really known in the comic world. It's not really big in the mainstream yet. I think it will get there, but Bloodshot is really the first time a lot of people are really seeing the Valiant universe. My biggest problem with this movie is a lot of the same problems I have with the Sylvester Stallone Judge Dredd film of the 1990s, which is another obscure comic book character that not a lot of people know from a much smaller company than a Marvel or a DC. They're both films that were only made due to the big lead star, but the big lead star in the film doesn't really fit the character itself. The character of Bloodshot is not very similar to the character Vin Diesel portrays in the movie, although a lot of the stuff in the movie does fit the character of Bloodshot. Much in the same way that Stallone's Judge Dredd does not fit the actual Judge Dredd or the world that they're building around him. I used to be a very big Vin Diesel fan. I have seen every Fast and the Furious film. I'm still a fan of the Fast and the Furious franchise for how ridiculous and over the top it is. I have seen every Vin Diesel movie as it comes into theaters. The way Vin Diesel has worked in the past 10 years, it is pretty much his Fast and the Furious films, which still have the exact same level of Fast and the Furiousness. If you liked them before, you're going to like them now. His other movies are kind of a mix mash of whatever Vin Diesel wants to do. He kind of molds it, takes control of everything that happens. It is very evidently clear in Last Witch Hunter, in Triple X3, The Return of Xander Cage, and it is very evidently clear here in Bloodshot. All three characters have kind of morphed into being very similar to Dominic Toretto. The only one that's kind of different is the Last Witch Hunter character, but even that one is kind of just a paint-by-numbers Vin Diesel character. The film itself is kind of a cross between Memento, Iron Man 3, and RoboCop, where it is kind of a mystery box, character doesn't really remember everything, had experiments done to him, has all these powers, doesn't really have control. You learn more as it goes along. Unfortunately, the trailer gives away the entire twist. The main twist of the film that you figure out halfway through is in the trailer, so that kind of ruins it. I don't know why they would do that. I guess it is kind of a paint-by-numbers film, and a lot of it is predictable, so they were like, screw it, just put it out like that, let's just do it, see what happens. There are some action scenes that I do enjoy in Bloodshot. I think some of the character design is okay. My biggest issue is, of course, the fact that the character of Bloodshot does not look anything like Vin Diesel, and Vin Diesel doesn't really try to look like the character of Bloodshot. He doesn't become all white like the character itself until the last 15 or 20 minutes, which does the movie a complete disservice. I think does have to do with the fact of Vin Diesel being the lead and Vin Diesel wanting to be seen as Vin Diesel.
I heard this. Are they playing this on repeat?
A lot of the problems with Vin Diesel movies of today are problems that you'd see in films of Stallone or Schwarzenegger's in the 90s, where they have so much control and they're such a big name that they can kind of just do whatever they want. And I think a lot of this movie would be different if you had a different actor. While I think Eliza Gonzalez gives a very good performance in the movie, I think Guy Pearce kind of plays the exact same role that he plays in Iron Man 3. Guy Pearce would have been a great casting of Bloodshot 10 to 15 years ago. I think he kind of just phones in his performance here. Toby Kebbell's performance is kind of a mixed bag. A great actor who really just is always making bad movies. Why does Toby Kebbell do this? Why did you make the Ben-Hur remake? Why would anyone think that was a good idea? What? Fire your agent, Toby Kebbell. Toby Kebbell's character is very strange, and it's hard for me to really describe his characterization without spoiling the film, even though they do it in the trailer, like I said, which, don't get me started. I do think there is one scene with Toby Kebbell that completely steals the entire movie, and it's even played up more later on. And that scene in particular is one of the things I like about the movie. A lot of the elements that I like about the movie that I think could have been done more if not for the lead actor. Okay, so Lamorne Morris, who is from New Girl. He's also in Game Night, which is a fantastic comedy if you haven't seen it. And I think he gives a fantastic performance in Game Night. Gives one of the worst performances in a film in 2020, I would say. Completely torpedoes the movie from the point that he enters. He tries to go for comedic relief, and every joke falls flat. He also has a British accent that I can only describe as being just like the British accent that Don Cheadle has in the Ocean's movies. So if you like that accent, but if you don't, yeah, you're going to dislike it just as much as I did. It's a role that kind of screams mid-2000s superhero movie, which is what a lot of this movie screams. A lot of this movie is kind of just a rehash of early 2000s and 90s superhero films. Like I said, it feels a lot like Stallone's Judge Dredd or Shaq's Steel. There's not a lot to like about this movie. There's elements that I really enjoy, and there's elements that make me like it as much as I do, but it's not a very good movie. I wouldn't recommend watching it. I'd recommend if you just want a mindless action movie, get it on VOD, but I think this is an awesome movie to watch on TNT in 2 years. If you want to watch on TNT, Sunday, 3 o'clock, you got the beers, you're just chilling, Bloodshot's your movie. I'm going to rate Bloodshot a 4.9 out of 10. There's parts of it that I really like, and there's parts of it that I want to like more, and I like superhero movies, and I like action movies, and I wanted to like this movie, and I like the character, so I wanted to like it even more. And I don't really think that they completely bastardized the characterization or the storyline. It does feel kind of generic in ways and paint by numbers, but there's a lot of this stuff to like. I think Vin Diesel brings this movie down exponentially, and that's coming from someone who likes Vin Diesel. Yeah, so guys, that's my review, Bloodshot. Let me know below what's your favorite superhero film that's not a DC or a Marvel movie. What are your favorite Vin Diesel movies? What do you think is with Vin Diesel's movies that aren't Fast and the Furious films? Because I think he kind of has a problem with non-Fast and the Furious movies recently. And we're going to have more reviews and videos out for you, tomorrow and the next day. So let me know what you guys think. I'll see you guys soon.